Previously on the gaming arena.
But for this, in general, the winner here is Deltarune, because Deltarune overall is a much better game, even though it's not complete yet. It still wins for this. But anyway, that's it for this episode.
Yes, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. Both of these are characters that have been around for, ever since the late 90s. They were the icons of PlayStation for a long time. Well, for a few years actually, because after the original PlayStation, Sony sold the rights to Universal Games, and then they merged with Activision, and Microsoft is going to buy Activision, so now they're being owned by Sony's competitor, Xbox. But all that aside, these are two well-known and popular and iconic characters and franchises that have been around for more than 2 decades now, well over that. And these are both 3D platformers they've probably heard of or possibly played, so yeah. Now before I begin this video, keep in mind that I've actually only played the original timeline of these games. What I mean by that is that after Crash Bandicoot 3, they made obviously they made Wrath of Cortex, Twin Sanity, Mind Never Mutant, Crash the Titans, and that stuff. But when Crash Bandicoot 4 happened, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, it actually split the series into 2 separate timelines. So I've only played the original timeline of Crash Bandicoot, which is Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, and 4. As for Spyro, similar, except for there's no Spyro 4, but I've never played a Spyro game past Year of the Dragon. I never played any of the Legend of Spyro games. I never played, I never played, what was that one called again? Air the Dragonfly. I also never played A Hero's Tale. So you won't see me talk about them that much in this video, except for the track record category, which we'll get to in a minute. So yeah. So with that out of the way, let's just get into this. So here we have the categories. Now, unlike Mario Kart vs. Mario Party and Mario vs. Sonic, I decided only to find this time. I couldn't really think of enough for 7 categories, but here we have gameplay and level design. I decided to combine the 2. Characters, music, track record, and impact. So we'll be looking at all of these, and let's see which series is truly superior. So I got for their next category, first category. Round 1, gameplay and level design. So how Crash Bandicoot plays is Crash Bandicoot plays like a traditional 3D platformer game with linear design. The Crash Bandicoot games, at least the original timeline. So like I said, this is the only one I played. I've only played the original timeline, which is Crash 1 through 4. But yeah, these games are about linear hallway-style platforming. They feel like you're just walking around hallways basically, and you spin, you kick, you jump on things, including a bunch of different boxes, and during each level, we'll count up your boxes at the end and say, hey, you missed this number of boxes if you missed any. Yeah, these games are all about are about linear hallway-styled 3D platforming that is very linear. Crash Bandicoot games are a very linear level design. And the levels move usually pretty quickly. So yeah. Now as for Spyro, though, well, actually let's not get into that yet. But anyway, now Crash Bandicoot games, they also have a world map and everything. Now Spyro does too. But from what I know, from what I played, Crash 1 through 4 had a world map and a linear world map, and then Crash 2 and 3 have like an open kind of map where you can like walk around the hub world. Which also leads me into Spyro. Now, as for how Spyro plays, so Spyro Spyro is also 3D platform, but also plays very different from Crash. Like I said, Crash Bandicoot games are very linear, and they follow levels that follow a simple process of get to the end and everything. Now, Spyro does that too, but also the thing, Spyro is more open, and the way, I guess the best way to describe it is like a 3D Mario game, basically, or maybe something like Banjo-Kazooie, except for you still go from point A to point B. But how Spyro does it is now, like I said, with Crash 2 and 3, you can run around the hub world freely, and with Spyro you can do that too. But for Spyro, the entire thing is all fully open. And like I said, the best way to describe it is it's like a 3D Mario game. 3D Mario games, how they work is you follow a big open level. Well, except for Galaxy 1 and 2, since they're more linear, and 3D Land of World played like a 2D Mario game, just in 3D. And Odyssey felt kind of open world, but 64 and Sunshine, I guess the way those play, where we go through like a big level to get to the star. That's how Spyro is, except for you get to the level. Now, Spyro also plays that. It also has collectathon elements too. These also had a collectathon. Like in the first game, you collect gems. You collect gems in all the games, but in the first game, you collect you save dragons from statues, and other things, and you also get dragon eggs and a few other things. And you can also find these collectibles in the hub world. Just like in Super Mario 64 and Sunshine, how there are stars hidden in the hub worlds of Isle Delfino and, Delfino Plaza and Peach's Castle in Super Mario 64 and Sunshine. And for Spyro, it's a similar route. Now, Spyro is obviously a bunch of different worlds, and you can freely explore them. And you can find gems and dragons and stuff like that too. Now for Spyro 2, that went through an approach of orbs, so the items called orbs, and you would fight, not fight, you do challenges and like different tasks. You tack on to like different quests to like get these items called orbs. And for Spyro 3, you're collecting dragon eggs or baby dragons and stuff. So yeah, I wonder how it's going to be for Spyro 4, which I hope happens. But overall, I think Spyro overall is superior because it feels more open and it just has more to do. So yep, the point here goes to Spyro. Both have amazing level design and are so much fun to play too. But then with Spyro is that it feels more open, there's more stuff to do, and it's also more fun and Crash Bandicoot is fun as well, but it's super linear and hallway style 2D platformer. While with Spyro, it's all super open and you explore a big area while still trying to get from point A to point B, just like in 3D Mario. But it also has collectathon elements too as well in them. Spyro just has more, and it's more open as well, while still keeping the linearity in 2. So yeah, with that, I'm giving the point to Spyro. Move on to our next category. Round 2. Characters. Alright, so the main characters of the franchise are obviously Crash Bandicoot and his sister Coco Bandicoot, and the main villain being Dr. Neocortex. There's also other characters like Entropy, Dr. Engine. There's also the Mask with Aku Aku and Uka Uka and Iki and Ika Ika. So yeah, they have a huge cast of characters in Crash Bandicoot, and so many. it's kind of hard to really describe them because, but overall, I think Crash Bandicoot has an amazing cast of characters in all 4 games. So yeah, and they all just have nice personality, but these games don't really have a lot of story, so there's not really enough I can really say about that. But Crash 4 expanded things even bigger with characters like Tana. So yeah, and Crash 4 also introduced Ika Ika and Ika Ika, and many others that I haven't mentioned. So Spyro has a lot of... So Spyro also has a big lineup too, but it's not as much as Crash. But I think Spyro overall has a really good lineup too. Now the first game, well, it mostly is Spyro, and I forgot, and that one fairy forgot her name, and Spyro's dragon partner Sparks, and also the main villain of the first game, Nasty Nork, and then. And Spyro's 2 changed main villain since Nasty Nork died. There was now Ripto, who's also the main character. Well, who's also the character in the name of the second game, Ripto's Rage. And then Year of the Dragon main villain was the Sorceress. So yeah, and Spyro 2 also introduced characters like Laura and Hunter, and Spyro 3 had Bianca, I think was her name. Yeah. It was like an enemy to Spyro first, but then ended up helping like at the end of the game. And I always really liked that idea. Now I personally prefer Spyro's cast of characters. I think they're just as great, but I gotta give Spyro the slight edge here because dragons. Yeah, Spyro 1, like I said, you save dragons throughout the game, and that's one of the main collectibles. Now, I actually really love all the dragons. They're and the way that and just how they talk even is really cool and everything. And they're all just fun to hear. Their personality is also amazing. I don't know why, but I always love all 80 of the dragons in Spyro 1. And I also like to and I'll also give Spyro the slight edge over Crash because I like the villain lineup more. Crash is just Cortex, while Spyro has Ripto and Nasty Nork. So yeah, although Crash 4 also had another villain too, I forgot the name. So with this, I'm giving this slight edge here to Spyro. So yeah, with all of this, Spyro wins again. Both have an amazing set of characters, and Crash has big variety, especially in Crash 4 where they introduced Tana and Ika Ika and Ika Ika. But Spyro really has more. I mean, it has big villain variety with the Sorceress, Ripto, Nasty Nork, and I also really liked Alora and Hunter too, and Bianca in the third game. In the third game, yeah, and I really love all 80 of the dragons in the first game. Those are all really amazing. So yeah, with that out of the way, I'm giving the point once again here to Spyro. Spyro wins against Crash. All right, time for round 3. Round 3, music. that Spyro's OST just hits harder. All 3 Spyro games just have an amazing OST. I mean, Crash Bandicoot has its great OST too, but Spyro's OST, especially in the first and the third game, well, I think the third game is the best OST, but the second one also has a great one too, but the third one is by far as the best soundtrack on the whole trilogy. Yeah, Spyro definitely gets the point here, and it's winning so far. Sorry, Crash, you're losing. But anyway, time to move on to the next category. Round 4, track record. Alright, so just like with my previous gaming arena videos for game franchises, where I did all the Metacritic scores of the mainline games and added and found the average of them. Well, I did the same thing here. Now, Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 don't have Metacritic scores, so I just put Insane Trilogy in there too, because why not? Even though it's a remake. But yeah, Crash overall has done good, although his post warped games have had a bit of divisiveness to them and got a mixed reception for the most part, but they still did decently well on Metacritic, but although other sources they got reviews, but this is Metacritic. This is what I'm using. It's the most popular review site for games, so that's what I'm using. So yeah. So overall, the average is 76.6. Alright, now here we are with Spyro. Now, just like with Crash Bandicoot, the first 2 Spyro games don't have a Metacritic score, so I just put in Reignited Trilogy in there. Now, just like with Crash, the post-Year of the Dragon games got a subpar reception from fans, a mixed reception from critics, and it was especially shown here on Metacritic. Now, these games are multi-platform, just like with Crash as well. Well, with the post-original trilogy, yeah. And all the ones in the original timeline, both Spyro and Crash, all got mixed reviews on Metacritic for the most part, so yeah. But overall, the Crash games have scored better than Spyro, at least on Metacritic and on about other sites, but I'm pretty sure most people also prefer Wrath of Cortex and Twin Insanity to Enter the Dragonfly and A Hero's Tale. A lot of people hate on Enter the Dragonfly from my I've heard it's like one of the worst games of all time. But once again, I've only played the original timeline, so I wouldn't know. And finally, Crash Bandicoot gets the point here. While Spyro games have been received well too, with Crash Bandicoot is more well known as well, which takes us to our next point. So yeah. But Crash Bandicoot gets a point here. It scores 1 to 3. Now it's time for a final round. See who will take the cake. Round 5, or final round, Impact. Alright, I know I've done this too with the last few, but just like with Mario vs. Sonic and Undertale vs. Deltarune, it's obviously Crash Bandicoot, because here's the thing. People associate the entire PlayStation ban with Crash Bandicoot, despite Sony no longer owning him. Yeah, that's right. The fact that Sony is associated with Crash even after they sold the rights to him after the original trilogy, yeah, and even with Microsoft now about to buy Activision Blizzard, and people still associate Crash Bandicoot with PlayStation. So in that case, Crash Bandicoot obviously wins for this category. I don't need to explain it. To be fair, the impact categories on each of these episodes have been obvious because of Breath of the Wild. Genshin Impact exists because Breath of the Wild. Mario Kart is more popular than Mario Party. Sonic exists because of Mario, and Undertale exists. Deltarune exists because of Undertale, and it's a similar case here. Here's the thing: Spyro existed because of Crash, because Spyro is because Spyro is basically a side franchise owned by the same company and made by the same company. Well, different developers, but sometimes the same ones. But yeah. yeah, they're both under the same ownership and everything, but Crash obviously wins here because, once again, people still associate Crash Bandicoot with PlayStation to this day as like the main, as like the face of PlayStation, despite Sony already have sold the rights to the franchise. Cause like I said earlier in this video, Sony sold Crash and Spyro to Universal Interactive, then they merged with Activision Blizzard, and then and now Microsoft made a deal to buy them in 2023. So yeah. But anyway, Crash Bandicoot. I mean not Crash. Spyro officially wins the Gaming Arena Episode 5. Alright, now that is it for this video. I will see you guys next time, and next time is also the season finale. We begin Season 2 in 2023. But see you all next time for the next one. Agent S out. Alright, see you guys next time for...